They say the season of fall has arrived, but yet here on Sportswire Radio, we are still in the middle of summer with plenty of heat to be unloaded tonight. Plenty of shots to be fired, and it'll feel no different than it was here in the middle of July. And that was right around the time our guest was last here on Sportswire Radio. Boy, it has been a minute, and she has got plenty to talk about. Let's just say she'll have some worldwide comments for last night's guest, who certainly had his own cheap shots to say about some of her offspring. She'll get into that. She'll most certainly be throwing a preemptive shot at Friday's guest here, who is not only the youngest hybrid champion of all time, but now the youngest one half of the tag team champions in the WVWF's history. And oh, by the way, pinned this guy that wrestled the artist formerly known as Fuego del Sol. We're going to definitely talk about Wyatt Black, but we won't cease and desist tonight, I promise you, because we'll certainly give the other side's take. We'll also talk about Cody Maverick, who kind of has his own Maverick-like quandary that we're going to see in a winner-go-home match this Saturday. Plus, we'll talk about our guest's favorite Phoebe Harper because she's got an open challenge, and let's just say I think Riku St. Helen won't be accepting that challenge. We'll be talking about steals, 2 for the price of 1. We'll be talking about an institute, a draw, a Chemical Valley gunslinger. Yeah, it sounds like the middle of summer, all right. It don't feel like a season of fall, but there'll be some people taking a few falls this Saturday when it comes to the Richardson Building, 325 7th Street. Parkersburg, West Virginia. Yeah, you know I've got that ingrained. Plus, maybe we'll talk about a number of other things. But now, since she hasn't been here in a minute, and she thought she was being called a liar, and I want to make sure she gets the opportunity because equal time, we still believe in that here, ladies and gentlemen. But to quote, as we always do, the one and only Def Leppard frontman, Joe Elliott, let's get rock, baby, because I see her chat is here. She's been waiting a long time for this, and I don't even want to look at the Mets-Cubs game anymore. So I'm ready to get this show off here in style on Sportswire Radio, the number one global radio station where all music and wrestling matters. So with right, but further ado here on the Sport Report, number one global sports show. She's the very best in the business. She's better than Dave Meltzer because she's the female Dave Meltzer, and she's back on a platform to talk about what she knows best, unlike other places where they were talking about things I have no idea of. But I know I've got only until 5 to say it, which is why I want to introduce her here, because, ladies and gentlemen, simply put, her name is Miss Courtney, the best in the business is here. My friend, how are we doing?
You know, I'm feeling a lot better after that beautiful introduction. I really contemplated not being on here after the crap that William Renee said, complete liar.
Liar, liar, pants on fire. You know, it was a great Jim
It was
Carrey movie.
disgusting. It was
Well, you know
disgusting.
what?
It was insulting.
If it makes you feel better, my dentist almost wanted me to contemplate not coming on here because yet again I'm going back to the dentist next month because apparently I have an inflamed gum, which means more bills will be drained out of my bank account. But that's okay. No one's gonna feel sorry for me. At least the dentist said, "Oh, I watch your stuff on Instagram," which was great. But he's probably at bed now counting the Benjamin Franklins he's getting next month. So we're not gonna go there. That's okay. Thank you, Dr. V. But I know you addressed it, so I'm going to go straight to the point here. To quote Ronnie James Dio, as a matter of fact, I'm going to go straight to the heart. Courtney Wood, for those that are listening and watching here in prime time on the brightest lights, the biggest stage, the platform that you made worldwide, Sportswire Radio, your response to what the Pro Wrestling Cheap Shots heavyweight champion William Renee said last night.
It was insulting. It was completely disrespectful to both my historical credentials and my parenting ability. I was completely disgusted by how he just, oh, she's just mad that I fought with her kids. Wouldn't anybody be mad at somebody that attacked their children? And notice I said children.
I don't know.
Notice I said children because it's not just Pav. It's also Day Jameson.
Yes, Day was certainly brought up quite a bit, and we know Day is nowhere near the confines of winning odds this weekend or the foreseeable future in Pro Wrestling Cheap Shots. So I see how you put the S after children. Yes.
Mm-hmm. And why do you think that is? Because William Renee knows that if Day Jameson gets in that building, he's done.
Well, he had a different. Well, we'll address the children in a minute because I'll give you that opportunity. But he had talked about the fact, though, that unlike the collective, he's been winning, and the winning odds seem to be far more in his favor than the likes of the Banana Man Lestat, who's going to see him this Saturday, or Ampo the Destroyer, who, by the way, is suspended, and Dave Jameson, who we're going to talk about, who got pinned by Friday's guest. We're going to get that's going to probably make you more mad than even William Renee here. But I mean, the winning odds have been far more in William Renee's favor, whether it's in places like Strong Style Lucha or places like Pro Wrestling Cheap Shots, where he has been the heavyweight champion. So what would your thoughts be on the winning odds heavily being in the favor of William Renee rather than the collective?
But do you see what you said and why the odds are in his favor? It just happens to be the show that Day's not going to be at. Ampo just happens to be suspended. Really? That's not sus to you? Just a little bit.
You know, I had a response for that because I'm sure you saw the footage here last night. We had aired March 15th, 2025, Strong Style Lucha. William Renee, worldwide here on this platform, gave us the tape where he had pinned Ampo the Destroyer.
Why would something that happened in Strong Style Lucha affect Cheap Shots?
Well, Mr. Renee had felt from his vantage point that since he had gotten the victory over Ampo, despite the numbers game being against him, a point he had made here on Sportswire, that's why Ampo doesn't want any heat with him or doesn't want the smoke.
Ampo.
Yes, that's Mr. Renee's opinion.
Ampo is scared of somebody.
Twice. I mean, I'm aware. We even thought that the collective may have been collectively tried to alter the view of Mr. Renee here last night on Sportswire. We had thought, or at least Mr. Renee had thought that.
Can we just point out the fact that William Renee would not be where he's at without the collective?
That was brought up, yes. I mean, there's certainly some history where Mr. Renee was a part of that alongside Ampo, but he says since he's left the group, he's the man on top, and he had pointed out that no one in the collective holds a world heavyweight championship at this moment. That's what he had pointed out.
Yeah, but you have multiple champions within the collective.
You
have Day Jameson, as the Keystone State. You have.
Universal.
Go ahead, say his name. Go ahead, do the thing. Do the thing.
Daniel Tafua. Yeah. I'll give you that one. I'll give it to you.
See, I was gonna do it, but I can't do it like you.
Yeah.
And even Brittany Storm has a championship. Brittany Storm.
Yeah, and
so what is William Renee talking about?
Well, that was brought up yesterday on the show, and from his perspective, Mr. Renee had felt that those titles, they don't equate to what he has. He had the belt. By the way, you saw it. You were here in the chat. He had the belt that everybody fights for in cheap shots. He had that, and he wasn't trying to show a cheap shot to anybody. He had the belt right above him. I thought that was a great way to show how on a worldwide platform that he is worldwide.
Tom, buddy.
I like everybody. We give everybody equal time. And I'm giving you that just as much time that Mr. Renee had, but that's what he laid out in his story. And we have a right for the people to hear his side. We'd waited a year to hear him on Sportswire. I mean, think about it, right? Wyatt Black had been on here countless times. You're going to certainly throw some cheap shots at him. I know in a little while. He's been on here countless times. We heard from the collective as a group a few weeks back. We've heard from so many that William Renee has been in a ring with and defeated. Cody Maverick was here Monday. I mean, Godric Sandwell was here. I mean, so many others have been in the ring with William Renee, and Mr. Renee had to wait a year, and it was his time, and we believe in fairness. I don't know if they believe in that still in this country these days with the way things are going. I'm not trying to go political, but on this platform, we still believe in equal airtime, and I granted Mr. Renee that opportunity.
I suppose he has the right to come in here and say a bunch of lies and stuff that didn't happen. I mean, I suppose.
But he is the Pro Wrestling Cheap Shots heavyweight champion, though. He is the champion. He brought the belt as proof. I mean, that would show what he's done. I mean, I think his point was that the collective doesn't have the belts that would put them worldwide. He had made that point clear yesterday in our segment.
So you're telling me multiple championships over different companies does not equate to one championship?
Well,
that he's
not the belt. No, I love Daniel Tafua. I love the collective, despite Ampo's, Burger King, well, less than Burger King like Wi-Fi. But we love Ampo. Ampo definitely isn't at Burger King right now. But I would still say that Mr. Renee does have a world heavyweight championship, which the group does not have. And they've had opportunities. Now, the Banana Man Lestat does have an opportunity to change that this Saturday. But Mr. Renee was very confident in his abilities. He was very confident. He talked about his prior engagement with the Banana Man. And he had felt he's come a long way. He's done a lot since then. And he feels that it's going to be no sweat, and he's going to move on and do what he always does, and the winning odds are in his favor, according to what he said here last night.
You want to know what he always does?
You tell me.
See, here's the issue, Tom. I have been around indie wrestling.
I know you've been around a long time. Well, almost 10 years with this.
Well, I've been writing for 10 years. I've been around for like 14, 15. I have seen the entirety of William Renee's career. And this is the bull that he has always pulled. He has done this in multiple companies. I have seen it. That is why I have spoken out about him this entire time. It's not like I just randomly decided, hey, I don't like this guy. No, I have seen all that he has done.
You've talked about him on here in the past. I give you that. You have talked about him here in the past. That there's no denying that. There are some merits to what you say, but he had the opportunity to speak for the first time last night, and he showed from his vantage point what he has done and what he intends to continue to do. Now, will he continue to do that this Saturday? I don't know. I mean, obviously, he's very confident. He likes his winning odds, but time will tell if the Banana Man will maybe have Mr. Renee trip on the banana peel instead of the Banana Man.
See, he tells you what he's done, but not how he did it. See, he's
Yes.
a multi-time champion in PWX, but he
We can
hid
say that
behind.
still? We can say that still.
Whatever.
You said it. Yeah, I think we could say it.
Because I was there. He hid behind Superior G. He hid behind Van Strader. He hid behind Ampo to have all of his success there.
Ampo was brought up
Like,
with that. Yep.
he would not have been anywhere else in that company if it had not been for those guys. You think you have somebody as destructive as Ampo and you're looking at William Renee? You think you have a physical specimen that's as jacked as Van Strader and you're like, William Renee's the threat?
Well, to be fair, Mr. Renee is 6'4", 220.
I am 5 foot tall. Everybody is tall to me. That doesn't impress me.
Oh, it doesn't impress you. Well, okay.
I'm everybody is.
Well, but what we know you could do with your left hand is like you were basically like Tyson with that left hand. I know that, and I certainly want to make it to 5. I want to make it to the 5 count, but he had his opinion. So you obviously feel strongly that Mr. Renee, his opinion is not factual, and what he's done is not with merit. What he's done to Anthony the Ram Drake, treating him like a battering ram, and him controlling the tag team championships in Pro Wrestling Cheap Shots doesn't matter. And the way he's done it is not with merit. And eventually his time will come, whether it's on the 27th of September or whether it's against his uncle on October 18th at Strong Style Lucha. But either way, eventually the collective will collect from what William Renee owes them or anyone else.
It's inevitable. It's inevitable.
Well, we'll find out. I mean, listen, we'll find out. I mean, obviously time will tell, but I mean, the Banana Man was nowhere to be found yesterday to give his side of the story. And I mean, Dave Jameson was quiet, and certainly Ampo the Destroyer, well, maybe his Wi-Fi was caught up with him or destroyed. And William Renee, he skated by. I mean, Daniel Tafua had few things to say, but he's not going to be anywhere near Dillonvale, Ohio, coming up this. He's nowhere near. So really, anything Mr. Tafua was saying to Mr. Renee, it's here. Sure, it was worldwide, but he's not going to be, local. He's not going to be localized near Mr. Renee coming up this Saturday.
I just want to point out one thing.
Yes,
you said something that's very, very scary. You said Day quiet.
He was quiet yesterday. He was quiet.
Think about everything you know about Day Jameson, and then think about how scary a quiet Day Jameson is.
I see what you do. I see what you're saying there. You're saying that Mr. Jameson's going to be very methodical now in what he does to the likes of William Renee or the likes to anybody else, and that has crossed paths with the collective, and that maybe Mr. Jameson is learning to hone his skills outside the ring and channeling them inside the ring is what you're trying to tell me.
Look at how different he was going through that situation with Tim Titan. It was tunnel vision. It was not the normal, erratic, high energy, I hear the voices Day Jameson. And that is not the Day Jameson that you want to bring out. So when you say that he's quiet, like, that scares me.
Well, I mean, obviously, I'm sure Dave Jameson will be back on Sportswire and probably will say a few things, but he'll definitely be brought up in a little while. But nevertheless, you say everything that William Renee said yesterday on here is not factual. Just making sure.
It was at best, it was extremely redacted.
But he did have the Cheap Shots heavyweight championship with him, though. Yes, he did have it.
And
he had it. He factually showed he's the champion. Was my point.
I mean, I'm not taking away that he's the champion. I'm just saying that there's a difference between a champion and a guy that has a title.
Sure,
So just
I get
you are
that.
in
No,
his
listen, I get that. But he
you know,
also, when I asked him the question about did I have the wrong guy over the past year, because we waited a year, basically like on the nose a year. I've been talking to all these different people. Really, actually, if you really go back in the time machine, over 2 years, because we brought up the Street Stompers and Thomas Taft. I know the Street Stompers and Thomas Taft. I know them for over 2 years. So really, and they've had their troubles with William Renee for about that long. So if you think about it, maybe it was 2 years. It was 2 years in the making. Did I have the wrong person all this time? Was it, come on here or what?
Yeah, because I saw the nonsense that he was pulling on the Street Stompers. I was there. I was front.
And I heard from Thomas Taft, actually. I heard from Rob Blade and Richie Blanco, because I know those guys very well, and they want to say their piece at some point again, because they heard what Mr. Renee had to say. But I asked Mr. Renee, did I have the wrong guy all this time on this platform? Should I have had him first instead of all these characters that Mr. Renee has either been in the ring with or defeated? And he kind of hinted that, yeah, I had the wrong person all this time. And he said that I had basically been given misinformation. That's what he said here.
Well, what else is he going to say?
I'm just telling you what he said. I'm not telling you
what's the alternative.
I'm not telling you to agree or disagree with it. I'm just telling you what he presented last night on Sportswire. I'm not saying whether he's right or wrong, good or bad, indifferent. I'm just telling you what he had said on here. It kind of hit me, actually, that really it's 2 years in the making. I said a year, but if you think about it, like I said, Thomas Taft and the Street Stompers, I know them for over 2 years, right? We mentioned Godric. We mentioned the Collective. We mentioned Cody Maverick. I mean, all these names, and they came here first. And in many cases, multiple times before Worldwide William Renee did.
And those are all good people. Those are all really good people.
I agree. They're as good as my Mountain Dew right now with an inflamed gum. I mean, it's great. They're great talents. I love all of them, and we appreciate them. But I had just asked Mr. Ray, should he have been the first person to come on here rather than Evan? He gave his opinion, and that's all.
And he's entitled to it. It's just wrong.
Well,
obviously, everything about him.
Well, listen, he's the man with the gold, and obviously, it was exciting to see him on for the first time, and I have a feeling he'll be here more often. He is in action this coming Saturday against the Banana Man Lestat, and something tells me that the Banana Man will not be slipping on a banana peel, but William Renee is worldwide, so go follow Pro Wrestling Cheap Shots. I should probably give you a preemptive shot now. I know we spoke about William Renee. You talked about everything that he said was intellectually dishonest. But there's a guy here that's coming back Friday for a celebration. He was the youngest hybrid champion in history. He's now the youngest holder of a tag team championship, maybe even in wrestling history. Somebody would have to check. Was Dominic Mysterio like 12 when he won the title with Ray? I think he was a little older than that, but somebody will correct me on that.
No, it would be Nicholas at WrestleMania.
Okay, all right. Oh, yeah. Okay, all right. So, he's not quite that young, but the point is that certainly when you talk about controversy, and you talk about controversy kings, whether you like him or not, he's back on Sportswire Radio, 9:30 p.m. to continue to kick off the new season, the fall season here on Sportswire Radio. And we need those ratings. Wyatt Black is going to deliver them. He's going to be here less than 24 hours from when he puts up those tag team championships against a Rare Bird and a Hype Man. And I think it seems like from what he's going to tell us on Friday, he's going to send them a cease and desist letter, and they're going to draw a 1, 2, 3 fall. And it's going to be the draw. It's going to be them coming out on top and still WWF tag team champions. He's going to tell us that, but he's here Friday night, 9:30 p.m. Eastern time. You were there in the Richardson building a few weeks ago, and I mean, I'm giving you the opportunity to throw a preemptive shot at the controversy king Wyatt Black.
We all know my feelings about Wyatt Black.
Oh, it's been, what are we talking about, 6-7 months going on now? You've been coming on here on and off? At least?
The kid sucks. He's horrible. But he's not dumb. And the reason why he will retain the championships is because of the double champ. Your WWF heavyweight champion,
Aaron James. He's the man.
That is the reason why the Draw will retain the championships. Because as much as I love Cease and Desist, I do, they're just too nice to combat the experience of Aaron James and the ruthlessness of Wyatt Black.
And you know what? Wyatt Black, by the way, may have had the biggest pinfall victory of his career a few short weeks ago when he pinned that guy, Day Jamison, right? And William Renee was even going in on that, saying, you know, when I was in the WVWF, he was the Mountain State champion. He even talked about the fact that he had victories. He had talked about the fact that Day Jamison, who came up short and empty-handed, yeah, I love Day. But the facts are is Wyatt Black got one of the biggest wins of anyone's career, defeating a man who wrestled Fuego del Sol. And Wyatt Black is here, and he's going to celebrate that, and that's maybe why Cease and Desist are going to probably cease and desist this coming Saturday in the Richardson building. And, well, they may need a lot more than hype. They may need, let's say, a prayer or two, because they drew quite a rough hand, you might want to say.
I cannot believe he was able to pin Day. That hurt my heart. That really, really hurt my heart. I will say, if you watch that match, I think it was because Day was distracted by Ampo. Because it looked like Ampo had tweaked his knee or something in that match. And Day is all about brotherhood. He's all about his family.
He's talked about that on here in the past. Yeah, I get that. And I know that
and
obviously.
I think he was distracted. And Wyatt Black, being the opportunist that he is, he capitalized on it.
But you know what? What do we say all the time on here? Whether it's William Renee or Wyatt Black or anybody else, in the record books, it doesn't matter how, it doesn't matter why, win to win, and Wyatt Black pinned Day Jamison. That's what the record books say. That's what they say. You know it. You wrote the report. You're the one that wrote the report. You were there. I wasn't. I mean, Mary certainly had the footage. Thank you, Mary, for all you do. But Wyatt Black in the record books pinned Day Jamison. And he's going to be here to celebrate that on Friday. I
almost quit as my hand was right on those words.
You know, Courtney, I know you were on some other podcast last week talking about things I really don't care about at the moment. But I mean, which, by the way, I'll put the photo of you there on that podcast. Shout out to those guys, you know. But what a tough week for you. You know, what a week difference was. Last week you were talking about WWE. Maybe you'd rather talk about that than this week on Sportswire, because you got to deal with William Renee on Tuesday, and then on Friday, before you go to the Richardson building, you've got Wyatt Black on Sportswire. This is Courtney, you've done a lot in your career. I mean, this is got to be one of the toughest weeks of your career. You've been through some tough things, as a lot of us in this scene have been through some tough things in these last few months, I would have to think.
Yeah, I want to know, like, why do you hate me? Like, this feels personal.
I don't hate you. We love you on here, but that's just the way the draw went. The draw went that William Renee, his time was now, and Wyatt Black was here to, well, start the season of fall. He was here, and he's a controversy king, and right now he's one of the kings in the WVWF. He's the youngest hybrid champion in history. And he's
not.
Well, that's his word.
Not win the championship.
And at the end of the day, he's got the tag team championship, though, and he's even, you know, wanting the women's championship now. Did you see that with Riku St. Helen? I mean, who knows? He may get his hand. He talked about, you remember when he was here last, he talked about he was going to eventually set records. He talked about he was going to hold as much gold as possible. And I'll tell you what, for everybody that, well, let's just say, tried to cease and desist his career, whether it was those in the underground, those that are in other places or in the WWF, you know what? He's the one that's on top. It's guys like him and William Renee that were here this week. And I know it's a very tough week for you here on Sportswire.
But it's practically the same story. Wyatt Black is hiding behind Aaron James and Tony Sane.
Although I would say though that William Renee, and I say this with as much respect as possible, William Renee is a much different competitor at this time than Wyatt Black is. Now they're both successful, but I think respectfully, William Renee is a much different competitor than Wyatt Black is at this point. I don't want to go through the tail of the tape. I mean, I think even you would agree with me on that deep down. I think that there's, I think
if we're talking in ring, I would have to agree. But personality, they're both
in ring. If we went size, if we went a lot of things. Listen, and Wyatt Black's been very successful. There's no denying he pinned Dave Jamieson. He's defeated Damian Abel. I mean, he had James Enoch beaten. I mean, we know what he's done to Wildcat, Aaron Jones, Riku. I mean, there's a long list of people he's defeated. No, I'm not taking that away from him whatsoever. But William Renee is worldwide, and he's a main event world heavyweight champion with family in the business. I mean, I'm just saying, family in the business.
And that's how he got there.
But
it's such a big deal to be champion in the company that your dad owns.
Well, listen, but you know what? David Flair was in the business. How did he do? You're a wrestling historian. How did he do? How did David San Martino do in this business? How did Brooke Hogan do? Anybody remember her brief? Let's not even regurgitate that storyline, because I'm sure she's getting no money or no cut from her daddy's will. Whether it's admitted or not. God rest his soul. But obviously, I mean, there have been those who have family in this sport that aren't as successful, and William Renee has been successful.
Yeah. Charlotte Flair has been successful. Dominic Mysterio's been successcesul. Now, The Rock.
Well,
Natalia.
Natalia's actually wrestling.
So for which one?
I don't talk WWE at all, but Natalia, I think, has actually wrestled now more matches than her uncle even.
Mm-hmm.
which is crazy. Yeah, listen, but William Renee didn't need the family to get him on top. He's been on top. He's gone different places, and he talked about that there. But Wyatt Black is here to celebrate. He is here to celebrate Friday night, and that's the draw we have. And I'm sure that you'll be at some point not tuning in, but I'm sure you'll hear about it. You'll definitely won't be tuning in, I know, but I also know that you'll hear about what he says the next day, because you're going to see him in the Richardson building.
Of course I'm going to hear about it, because that kid never shuts up.
But he has a reason to talk now. He's got gold. I mean, listen, he's got gold, and he pinned Dave Jamieson.
I'm thinking of an idea here.
Shoot.
He beat one of my sons. Maybe it's time I bring another one of my sons down there.
Well, you got a couple of them, though. You got a couple. I mean, obviously, you
that's
got a couple
true.
Of them.
I can mean anybody.
That's a great point. I mean, obviously, we want to follow the WVWF, and maybe I'll get to some people here in the chat. They want to talk to you. I'm sure there's plenty of people. I want to talk about a few other things at WVWF. I want to say hello to my buddy, Mr. Eddie Pizzo first. Coming soon, the dual cast. And, Courtney, I'm getting into it. It's in 2 weeks from now. No, it's actually next week from now. Time flies. I'm actually doing Airshot Gaming on Sportswire. I have no idea. I'm doing Airshot Gaming. I'm not becoming
cool.
Yeah, well, you're the first person I explained it that actually gets it. Boy, thank God, because I told like 4 people today, hey, I'm gonna do Airshot Gaming, because I do wrestling, and wrestling's great. We're always gonna cover wrestling on Sportswire, but it's time to do some different things. And I was explaining Airshot Gaming, and I'm like, I really believe in it. I heard the whole thing about it, and I think it's gonna take off. And Eddie's the man that's going to get Airshot Gaming on Sportswire. So that'll be coming up in a week from now. So, yeah.
That's awesome.
So we'll get to more people. Yeah, I think people want to talk, so we'll get to them. Zilla's in the house. Zilla is back. Thank you, Zilla. I hope the fair was better than the New York Mets performance today, but that's okay. The Reds lost. Speaking of people, we're going to be here Saturday night. Chase Wakefield. Now this guy got married. He got married. By the way. Had a wrestling super show. Were you invited? Did you go to the wedding?
I didn't, but I saw all the pictures. They were absolutely beautiful.
He definitely married above his pay grade. I think he's definitely, he is obviously way out of his league, and he's really got lucky in who he married. I'm just telling him because I want to continue to let him know that on Saturday's show, because obviously his better half, his other half, Janie, she wanted the wrestling super show more than this guy did, and he's a wrestler. So obviously he definitely married way above his pay grade, even out of my pay grade, just saying. But Chase will be here. He'll talk a lot about. That's why he's married. I'm only married to the dentist going forward. But there you go. I'm having fun. Still having fun. Thank you. I gave a bunch of comments. Want to say hello to the enforcer of Sportswire Radio, Mr. Ox McCoy, the IMF Hardcore Champion. Thank you, Ox. Thank you as always. Want to say hello to another person from the state of Ohio, the Underground OG Darkron. How you doing, Mr. Darkron? From my state, who I know is going to be back on here very soon, the one and only Torrance Banks is here. Was up. Definitely shout out to the 716. The 716 is always representing, although sorry about the Blue Jays tonight, but hello. I miss you all, God. Yeah, I think I know who this is. Yeah. We know who you are. Definitely. To quote Kicks, yeah. And how we doing. And speaking of people who wanted to remind you about yesterday's show and how they certainly got us the views on Sportswire, Mr. Worldwide William Renee. He was worldwide. Can't deny it. He was worldwide.
See, now he's crashing my show. My interview time, making this about him. He couldn't let me have my moment. He has to make a name off of me too, just like he's done with everybody else in his career.
Well, since he was here and he's worldwide, I'm going to do him a solid because he got some subscribers on YouTube last night. Let's give him some more subscribers because Courtney's going to really, to quote Kicks, blow her fuse. But nevertheless, we'll do it anyway. Give him a sub on YouTube. He needs one more subscriber to 80. And we'd like to have him come back on Sportswire because he definitely had plenty to say. And I like to hear more of him. But hit the sub button for him. He's got some content with people like Cody Maverick, Godric Sandwell, Ampo the Destroyer, the Street Stompers, a long list of people. Go hit the sub button for Worldwide William Renee and hit the sub button for us here at Sportswire Radio 6579 at the Ring Fever 5786. So, thank you, William. You're welcome. So, we'll get to more comments. You got a bunch of comments, so let's come back to them. Also here, I was a champion before them. That's what you like to say. Okay, well, I guess you have no comment.
No, that's factually accurate, yeah.
I was waiting for you to say something. He's won several championships in his career.
Yeah, with other people's help.
Win's a win in this sport, though. I mean, it's win's a win. I hear you. Look, I would want to do it the right way too. But listen, we talked about it last time on the show, and it's a dog-eat-dog business, and he knows it better than anybody else. And I just have to tell him.
He knows how to politic it. He knows how to maneuver things and get his most credible threat suspended for actions that happened in another company.
Well, maybe he got suspended also for his Wi-Fi connection on previous Sportswire appearances by any chance?
Well, he's got to learn to do better. That one I can't.
Between him and Brohemoth, I'm not sure who has better Wi-Fi.
And you're not going to say how Will was constantly...
Well, he claimed he thought the collective may have been, collectively trying to alter his angles. I don't know if that's accurate or not, but...
the lack of accountability on that kid. Your camera didn't even want to record you, Will. Stop lying.
It's 2025. I guess the best thing I could do to come up with is this. It was the wrong one. I had the drum roll and it didn't come up, but that's okay. But it's this one. That's the one I was looking for. The sound box boy. It's almost like my gums right now. Speaking of people I haven't seen here on Sportswire, the gentleman of exquisite caliber, Godric Sale. I know you'll be much more happier when he comes back to the platform. Which he will. He'll come back in October. We have a lot to talk about with Godric. I actually want to hear him as well. So thank you, Godric. We'll want to see him as well. Thank you, Zilla. Thank you. And yes, far too kind. And the man who's going to be celebrating here on Friday, Wyatt Black.
Did you put out like an email? It's like, hey, if you hate Courtney, tune in tonight and bother her.
Zilla's here. She said hello. Godric's here.
Zilla's always here, and Godric's a gentleman.
Here. I think that you have a mix. People said hello. I think it was more positive than not. No, I would say.
I'm waiting to see Tyler Grayson pop up. Like, let's just have everybody.
I haven't had him on Sportswire, so I don't know if Tyler Grayson is coming on here. But I will tell you, I have more comments. Saying this when there's footage that clearly goes against it is kind of crazy.
Arguing with the person that records history is kind of crazy, William.
Footage of you cheating a lot in all of your matches to win the matches. Well, I think he meant to say cheating.
And that, for the record, is the guy that films the matches. He's the one that walks around the ring with the camera.
I do
so want to. You're going to argue with the camera person and the person white. Okay.
I think Mr. Renee is definitely a fan of the quote from former New York Jets head coach Herman Edwards: when you play to win the game. And that's what William Renee has done. You play to win the game. I covered college basketball for years. I used to watch and talk with these guys. I used to get invited to practice. And, Allen Iverson, Pennsylvania would famously talk about practice. But William Renee, he goes in the game and he wins. He compared himself to Kobe Bryant yesterday. I mean, there were people in the chat comparing his career start to Kobe Bryant. And I got to tell you, look at his career so far. I mean, I don't know if he's going to be on that Mount Rushmore just yet, but listen, there's definitely some parallels. I'm just saying.
You're delusional.
I'm not delusional. I'm just telling you what he was saying in the chat. Well, he's the champion right now, and until the Banana Man or anybody else takes it from him, he has that right to say what he wants. What game, bro? Also, let's get to Wyatt Black. I met last time we crossed paths with the collective, me and Tony captured the house, but we have the Freebird rule. And we know Tony Sane's going to be in action against Nate Steele. We know their history, by the way. Oh, I can't wait to see that match. Which, by the way, Courtney, what can you say now? Because, and we talked about this record can't be reversed. Yeah, I think you'd rather be talking WWE than being on Sportswire. But more people are tuned in, I think, to this show than where you were last.
Oh, my gosh. Now you're in favor of things not being reversed. Okay.
No, I'm not saying that I'm in favor. I'm just telling you what he said. I'm not saying I'm in favor of them. I'm not saying I'm pro or against. It's just his perspective. You know who else has a title, Courtney? And I think I see what he's saying. When was the last time the collective defended their tag titles? Which is a good point, because I even forgot they had them when they were here a few weeks ago, by the way.
They let you forget that they had them?
Come on, Dave. But I hear you. Thank you, Godric. Yes. Hello to the draw. We certainly have quite a draw tonight on Sportswire. Thank you. My dear friend, the Banana Man, is beyond due for a new championship. It could be, and he's got a track record. He has a track record over.
He's a former heavyweight champion.
Yeah. No, listen. But Renee took him serious, though, yesterday. Renee talked about the last time they were in the ring, and he talked about how he's evolved as a wrestler since, which I thought was very interesting and fascinating that he had mentioned those points. And I think that that's a reason why we're very excited to see what they do. And I know that Mr. Renee will be back on Sportswire to discuss that. Thank you.
People get distracted by the fun-loving persona, the bananas and all of that, and they forget Lestat is a vet. He is a
I think. Well, you know what? That's a good point you made, because he is the veteran of that group. But also, the point was made that Renee had said on Sportswire yesterday that how come he's never with the collective? How come he's never with them?
Because they're causing chaos and winning championships all over, not just
But
in
it
one
didn't.
company.
But that didn't work in the WWF recently.
See, that's Will's mentality. If I group everybody together, I can control one company. Why doesn't Will have championships in other companies?
What he focused on here last night was to tell us for the first time that he's focused on conquering one place, strong styling himself to give himself favorable winning odds, and then he'll expand his horizons like in strong style lucha on October 18th.
In other words, he's stacking the deck and he is becoming like, what is that? The big fish, small pond. Like,
Well,
yeah, it's so cool when you can only control one place.
my political career, which helped me in a way bankroll enough change to be here on Sportswire for no reason, is that if you don't have a base, you got nothing. And well, he's got a base right now. His base is Pro Wrestling Cheap Shots, and he's done well there. And I don't know if I agree with everything he's done. I agree with you. You know, the Street Stoppers are friends of mine. And Anthony the Ram Drake. I get all that, but he's got a base, and if you have a base, you can win. But if you don't got a base, you got nothing. Never forget, God rest his soul, Guy Molinari told me, if you don't have a base, you got nothing. He's got a base. I mean, I hear you, though. I do agree. Sammy, not Sammy Hagar, who would like to say your stream has been awesome. I don't know you, but thank you for following me on Twitch. I'm actually getting closer to 50 followers on Twitch, which means I get monetized. For what? Who knows? But you know what? It'll go into a small drop in the bucket. In the meantime, Wyatt Black used to be in the crowd cheering on William Renee, like when William Renee pinned Cody Maverick, who's in action this Saturday in a winner-go-home match. Cody Maverick is just laser focused on Ryan Steele. It's a first-time matchup. And, for a minute, what do you think happens there? I mean, objectively speaking.
I just want to say one thing. I was in the crowd seeing a teenage William Renee cheering on Lestat. So if you want to play that game, we can play that too. Because I was in the crowd with you, Will, watching you cheer on Lestat. Yeah. See, he can snow you. Like, he can give you a speech and make you think he's great. I was there. But as far as Cody
Maverick, I love everybody equally. I believe in equal time. So you wouldn't give him 5. You would only give him to 0.99. Not like your last post on Facebook 499. You'd give him 0.999. That was funny. Listen, I still got a couple of jokes left in me that you like.
You are just too nice of a person. That's the problem.
Yeah, well, well, I'm a pushover. What can I tell you? I am a pushover, but I don't like Mr. Softies because I can't really eat it in my mouth. Thank you, Eddie. Thank you, my brother. And if you need some better company, I think I kind of hinted. Stay tuned for that. Beep beep, beep beep. Does that sound familiar for you this weekend? Beep beep.
Taxi.
Beep beep.
That guy is the most relentless. I thought I held a grudge.
Yeah.
Taxi. Ooh. Never get on that guy's bad side.
I don't want to get on anybody's bad side. I really don't. I really want to get, listen, I was actually telling people this when I went to get you haven't been here since I got my tooth done. And I actually, when I was going to a place I had never been in my entire life, and I kept thinking, as it took me forever to get there and everything was in slow motion, I felt like it was like the end of the world, like Moses free. Like it was like Moses. It was just like, this is it. So since then, I'm like, I don't want nothing. I still hear the shotgun coming out of my mouth. I've went through other things worse in life. Don't get me wrong. I am from Brooklyn, but this was just like, so I want to love everybody, and I should have had him as the taxi, but he is very relentless. Speaking of people that are relentless, my dear longtime friend, the Nemesis James Taylor, who's returning to the ring, was successful in his return to the ring in Omega Championship Wrestling in the wonderful state of Mississippi, and he's got a big showdown he'll talk about here soon. Thank you, because there can't be no other way. And hello to James. I miss going to all the wrestling shows. I think he meant to say shows, and seeing all my family and friends. Well, if you're here on Sportswire, I can do the best I can to give you half an opportunity to see some of your friends. And even though Courtney doesn't want me to, there can be no other way So please hit the sub button for William Renee on his YouTube page. Also, here, who else we've got? Well, Chase is going to talk about that Saturday night. Hello to my friends here in the EWA in the great state of Ohio, which they're in Ohio right now. One side of the state's happy because the Guardians beat the Tigers in the first place, and then the other side of the state, the Cincinnati Reds, just lost to the Pittsburgh Pirates, which is great for me. But thankfully, he's the Guardians fan, not the Reds fan, so that's why I like him still, Hubie Jenkins. Yeah, we knew that. Thank you, Taxi. And by the way, great TV show. It was shot in Queens. Did anybody get that joke? You're a history teacher. You know history, so you probably got that joke. The rest of it is that. Well, maybe Hubie and James Taylor, they're the old guys. They would have got it. They were probably alive when Taxi was around. The rest of this chat would be like, yeah, now I'm being
Hoffman, Danny DeVito, like all that.
Yeah, now, well, Hubie and James now are going to be mad at me for saying that, but I was being facetious. I can't believe Danny DeVito is still alive, by the way. I think Will should not have a belt. He got a belt because of his daddy. LOL, love you. Yeah, I know who that is. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, we got the point.
It's true.
I think I think he just said the same thing. Okay. Thank you, Eddie, for subbing to William's page. I'm really looking forward to Airshot Gaming. I watched it on TikTok, and I think it's interesting. You might want to air shoot me. You might want to air shoot me tonight, Courtney, after who we've talked about. I did nothing wrong. Me and Courtney Wood had different options about the Institute member, the controversy king, Wyatt, but maybe opinions. I think she meant to say opinions, right? Because like how I spelled cheap shots, cheapy shots yesterday. Remember on Facebook I posted cheap shots?
Yeah. Bram's wife called you out.
Yeah. Well, I said I couldn't change it. Hello to Princess Jade. She definitely has changed enough to be here on Sportswire. Thank you for that. I had respect for Lestat. Thank you for that. Well, he did with the parentheses. Hello to Princess Jade. What about Taxi? You have respect for Taxi? Yeah, you got respect for Taxi, right? You love taxis?
I am fine with him as long as he is not fighting Josh Jade when I'm trying to do an interview. The way that he just kept attacking Josh Jade when I'm trying to do my job was just very hazardous working conditions.
You know what? We certainly, it's 2025. We don't want hazardous working conditions like they had famously in those the Chicago Union fires, the Chicago Square fires. Yeah, that was crazy times. But so I guess that Maverick and James, will Maverick get his shot at James Enoch? I mean, Maverick and Ryan Steele. I got to ask you for a minute. Speaking of veterans who, obviously are in a fire, what do you think there, real quick?
I'm definitely rooting for Maverick. No offense to Ryan Steele. Ryan Steele is very, very angry, and he is just every show he has a different target. And I think he just wants to hurt people. But Maverick has had a goal for a very long time. He is a guy that has set the goal of wanting to become heavyweight champion, and he just decided, like, I'm going to do this, and he's going to do it the right way by working up the ranks and fighting the heavyweights, fighting the guys that are bigger than him, so that when he does earn that opportunity, he's prepared for it. So it wouldn't be a fluke like William Renee. So I really, really respect what Maverick was doing.
Oh yeah, and Maverick is a leader. He's a veteran, but this might be his last shot. Really, this is kind of a winner go home matchup. I mean, he's obviously focused, laser focused. Did not really want to take his opponent Ryan Steele very lightly. He's got Enoch in his sights, but Ryan Steele is dangerous, and there's really no telling what happens there. It's almost like a championship match without a championship on the line. It's just really, really an intriguing matchup there. And obviously, we'll see what happens. And the winner of that match will face James Enoch, the Chemical Valley gunslinger, who's certainly got, plenty of problems. And I'm sure we'll hear from his side of the story very soon. Thank you, Jade. And all this talk of age makes this gentleman feel old. Well, he's still not as old as some people here in this chat. Yeah, hopefully that makes me feel a little bit less funny. Yes, hey, Mrs. Wood, who's not related to Elijah Wood. I'm sure people ask you that. You're not related to Elijah Wood. You're not related to the famous Rolling Stones guitarist Ronnie Wood or Kerry Wood, Chicago Cubs great. And she's a fan of Justin Parsley. She's been on here on Sportswire. Yeah, she's a fan of. She's a big Justin Parsley fan. Yeah. And Ox saw the enforcer did see Taxi. I didn't realize anybody saw Taxi, but I guess maybe I'm maybe I'm not maybe I'm the young one because I really don't remember Taxi. But I played Crazy Taxi. For those who played PlayStation, Crazy Taxi. I mean, it was an Xbox. Crazy Taxi was a great
That's
game. I
one
played
thing.
Crazy Taxi. That was a fun game. Me and my friends played it. I would cut school and play Crazy Taxi. Maybe that's why the dentist wants to cut my mouth still. Probably should after my appearance tonight on Sportswire. Oh, I just meant that you've changed and you came on at a later time. That's all. Because usually we come on earlier and you're on at a later time tonight. That's what I meant. Because I went on an hour later. That's why. That's my point. Yeah, definitely. Listen, never say never, to quote one of my guests in the chat. Perhaps a gentleman and a maverick can have ourselves a tussle. Well, I mean,
Ooh.
see Godric at Mon Valley this Saturday. He's busy at Mon Valley, and Maverick's busy in the Richardson Building, a place Godric knows very well too. So I don't know how you can go and be at two places at once, but if anybody could, it's Godric Sandwell, that's for sure. Can it be Saturday yet? I wish it would be Saturday.
I wish it were Saturday.
Thank you, Jade. Yes, we meant that well. I seen Taxi and played that game. I guess it was Sega. I guess I didn't realize that. No, Crazy Taxi
Sega
was like
Saturn. That's a name
oh,
drop.
was it? Yeah, Crazy Taxi was definitely not Sega Saturn. Did anybody even own Sega Saturn? I mean, it was like here and gone. I was helping
No.
myself. This is a good thing. You know, I want to try to make up for some of the things tonight. I know you have definitely not been happy about who we've talked about on Sportswire. I want to ask you about a couple more things before we sign off, but I'm trying to make up for my performance and behavior tonight, but it's your day. So there you go. Equal time. Get it? William Renee got it yesterday. You get it today. Equal time.
That is very nice of you. And see, now
I don't think they gave you one of these on the podcast you did last week. I saw like 5 minutes of it. I was like, yeah, I don't think I'm following anything on that show. But I'll tell you what I do want to do. If you got a bunch of you on Instagram, let's get Courtney some more followers on Instagram because she needs more followers. Well, she doesn't really want more followers, but I'm going to give you more followers because I got a bunch of people here that can follow Courtney because I got like 7 or 8 of you on the chat. You probably didn't even know she's on Instagram. Well, guess what? Now you know she's on Instagram, and now you can go hit the follow button for her, and you can see her recently on a podcast she was much more happier with, the Pro Wrestling Wire, and they were talking about things Courtney would probably have much rather talked about tonight, which was WWE and other things, because she really didn't want to talk about William Renee, Wyatt Black, and talking about the Institute, and she really didn't want to talk about those things. She'd rather talk about WWE than coming back to the platform that's worldwide. But I understand where she's coming from because this was a rough week for Courtney. The draw that she got wasn't too good tonight. But listen, I'm sure she'll be back with a better draw. You know what? I was having fun with the names, winning odds, draws, Institute, worldwide. But she was on the Pro Wrestling Wire. Check them out. They're on Facebook, YouTube, and if you like WWE, Courtney has much more opinions on it than I do. Because to tell you the truth, Courtney, I haven't even watched Raw since it moved to Netflix. I don't own Netflix, and I don't think I'll ever own Netflix. And I watch SmackDown from time to time, but I'm I'm on Sportswire most of the time, and that's how it goes. And yes, congratulations, Courtney, to your day. And speaking of things, by the way, you've had a few of these. You had 2 days and you're in the Hall of Fame. So now you're Courtney 2 days. So Courtney 2 day, get a Courtney 2 days. And you got one more day over William Renee. And you've got one more day over Day Jamison, one of your children. And, but don't gloat on him on it because he may shoot on Sportswire if you do that. I don't think he will because Day does like coming on. And I like Day a lot. So despite what William Renee said. And maybe Crazy Taxi was Dreamcast. You might be right because I did own Dreamcast. Yeah, it might be Dreamcast. I don't know yet when I want you on, but I'll find a day and I will bring you back on. So that'll be a day that there can't be no other way to say. Parsley is in the lead because he's the Hall of Fame monitor, but he's in the Hall of Fame 11 times. He's been on here a lot over the last 2 years. But I want to talk about a couple of other things. I'll get one more comment. I know a lot about wrestling. You can ask my mom too. I've been going since 2003. Very impressive. No. Listen, everybody knows more about wrestling than I do. I really don't know anything about wrestling. I really don't. But I tell you what, I do want to ask you about what you know a lot about is Phoebe Harper has got an open challenge. Your women's champion. Yeah, I got to talk to you about it because Phoebe Harper is one of these elusive figures that has not been on my platform that I think you and many others would like to hear from. But what do you think about her in this open challenge she's got this Saturday?
I think it's disgusting that she is competing at the top level. She has to do everything. She even has to make her own matches. Like, how much more do you want from this angel? Like,
I don't know. Well, I mean, she holds a victory over Godric Sandwell. Big victory.
And Hype Man and Ben Metal. She beat the Hype Man and Ben Metal in the same match.
And I know how you felt. And I know how you felt about her match with James Enoch, the Chemical Valley Gunslinger, because he was here about it, and you were livid about how that turned out. That
animal mauled that beautiful, perfect creature. It was.
Well, you know what? Well, I'll tell you what. Well, you know what? I'll tell you what. I guess then you would say that he got what he deserved then last weekend from the expense of Cody Maverick and Ryan Steele, then I would imagine.
It's not enough. He deserves more.
Well, he's going to find out next weekend who his drawer is, which who knows who that will be. But Phoebe Harper, open challenge. It's not going to be Riku St. Helen that's going to be taking that challenge up because we know what's going on with her. I mean...
provided she got out of that basement.
I mean, Jade May, which shout out to Jade May. We know that's not going to happen either. Obviously, we wish Jade nothing but the best. But, I mean, so what do you think there and who responds to this? I mean, the Hype Man's busy. He's busy for the night. I mean, Wyatt Black's busy for the night. It's not going to be him. So, I mean, who do you think takes up this open challenge? William Renee's not. William Renee's definitely not come back to the WWF. He's got bigger things to handle. I mean, so who is going to be? He's a heavyweight champion. And so who do you think will respond?
He does not have the guts to take on Phoebe Harper.
You know what? I'm not going to go down that road. But, I mean, it could be anybody, I guess, that would answer that open challenge. And I don't know.
Anybody that wants to step up and lose. That's Phoebe's ring. She said it multiple times.
Yeah, well, the record speaks for itself. She's had some major wins. She's definitely one of the biggest stars in the WWF, no question, but no inclinations on anybody that could answer that open challenge, though.
The first female to compete and win in the main event of a WWF show. She was a part of the first all-women's main event at the last show.
Yep.
So it's like she just thinks of things like records to break just because she can. Like, that's how amazing she is. So why anybody would step up to face her, I don't know.
To quote Ozzy, don't ask me, I don't know, but I guess we'll have to find out. But her record's been very impressive, and I wonder who would take on that challenge. I mean, I'm kind of drawing blanks. Get it? I'm drawing blanks. So I guess time will tell because we're 72 hours away from the next WWF show. But I got to ask you about another match that's really intriguing to me. Dax Preacher and Chase Maddox. I mean, will the ring be in one place afterwards or what?
No.
No. That's what I think. That's exactly what I think.
So I have to sit front row to record all of the matches. I sit there.
You ain't counting to 5 with them. You ain't even bringing up that at all with them. I know you're not doing that.
I will tell you. I don't know if I should say this, but I'm saying it anyway. Dax Preacher has had a lot of hardcore death matches in WWE.
I had him on here. Yeah, I had him on here about a month and a half ago.
We've seen him take a gusset plate to the forehead, weed whacker to the back. A lot of those matches, I see in my corner of my eye, Chase Maddox, pissed off as he always is, going, I'm going to do that. that's nothing compared to what I would do. And you could see Chase plotting in his head and just thinking of like all of the evil destruction he could cause if he were in that match. And for whatever reason, they're sanctioning this, and it's gonna be bad. You have the deathmatch junkie in Dax Preacher, and you have the Huntington Beach headhunter in Chase Maddox, who was the muscle for,
And listen, Hype Man,
Damnation.
I had Hype Man on last month, and he was in the ring with Chase Maddox. I'm not going to remind Hype Man Dan Lasers about Chase Maddox, as a matter of fact. And I think Mrs. Maddox has even been, talking about this match on social media. Just saying, by the way. Shout out to Mrs. Maddox.
And why Dax Preacher wants to get his side salad killed, I do not know.
Dax was on here and said that that's what he does. Dax Preacher, I mean, he just wants to take on everybody. He was basically adamant about that on here. Dax Preacher was here, and that's what he wants to do. He's kind of like Ox McCoy. I mean, he'll go out there and he'll throw his body into anything. I mean, he would gladly get, what I had from the dentist, a shotgun in the mouth. He would do it every day and smile afterwards. I mean, that's how Dax Preacher is. I mean, so Dax Preacher, I mean, this is what he wants. He's preaching to the choir, and he's got Chase Maddox. You want a match that's hardcore? That's going to be one of the most hardcore matches West Virginia's ever seen? Well, guess what? You're going to get that.
It is. I know both of them very well, and it's going to be bad in the best way possible.
Well, I'd be curious on where, without spoiling what Lester's got in terms of this, where this is going to be in the card, because if you start this off with the show, the ring may not be in one place. If you end with this, you got to go clean the ring up afterwards and put it, do what you do. Or if you put it right before intermission, well, I don't know if there'd be enough time to rearrange the ring back up. So, I mean, boy, this is almost the definition of a no man's land match. I mean, Ox just wrestled Kato, by the way, who gave me, this nice little letter here, nice little card he wrote. And yeah, he wrote me a nice little letter and card. But obviously better than my handwriting. But he and Ox McCoy had, two matches that almost would rival or be in the same league. Literally, that Chase Maddox and Dax Preacher had. No, by the way, Kato is wrestling in the Carnage Cup, which is with the likes of Madman Pondo. And yeah, he's in the Carnage Cup. Kato is in the Carnage Cup, and Ox McCoy wrestled him. As a matter of fact, Ox McCoy, the enforcer of Sportswire Radio, he beat him not once but twice. And Kato is like a big-time guy in the hardcore deathmatch world. So, I mean, that's basically what I would equate what we're going to see between Preacher and Maddox coming up here. And like I said, I'm not going to ask Dan Lasers about Chase Maddox ever again.
No, Chase Maddox has the stiffest forearms I've ever seen. In all of his matches, he gets the guy down, he sits on him, and he just
I watched the match with Hype Man. Yeah. Well, I mean, listen. Well, that's why. Listen, he's going to be. Who knows what kind of mood he's going to be in coming up this Saturday, and we're going to see him in action against Dax Preacher. And I can assure you that that's going to be quite the match. As a matter of fact, I should do it. Well, maybe I'm not. I'm going to do it anyway, because I put up the footage here of Chase Maddox and Hype Man Dan Lasers. Maybe it'll motivate cease and desist. But yeah, there you go. But that's what those two are doing out there. But I got to ask you, before I'll get to a couple more comments before I let you go. I got to ask you about the other Steele in action, Nate Steele and Tony Sane. It's a match that's about 3 months in the making. What do you think happens there?
I think Nate Steele finally gets his revenge. He's been fighting against the Institute, now the Draw. He's been stabbed in the back by a lot of people. He has a lot of anger within him. We saw him rescue Riku and then attack Sane. Like, this is a guy that is owed, like, statistically, like, he has to win at this point.
Yeah. It's almost like the draw. The draw should be in his favor, but the draw really is in Tony Sane's favor because he's got the numbers game. But I mean, we'll have to find out. I mean, if Nate Steele's ever serious about, like you said, getting on track, getting some momentum, and getting some gold, this will be that matchup here. And obviously, Sane and Wyatt Black win the tag team championship. The Freebird rule is in place, and Aaron James will be in action there. So we'll have to find out and see what happens. Let me get to this. I'll let you talk about it because we know Lee Moriarty's been brought up on Sportswire. And do you think we'll ever see Dave Jamieson and Lee Moriarty? I mean, Wyatt Black pinned Dave Jamieson.
So.
I don't know if it's going to happen because Dave Jamieson got pinned by Wyatt Black. So maybe it should be Lee Moriarty and Wyatt Black instead.
You shut your ass. Don't ever do that again.
He's in bed right now. He's in bed right now. So he didn't hear this. He's in bed.
It's just disrespectful.
I had to ask it though, objectively speaking. I mean, I had to ask, but seriously, what do you think we'll see Lee Moriarty and Dave Jamieson one day? We know what Lee Moriarty.
I think there's a certain money mark out there in the universe that might make that happen. I know it's a goal.
Well, I haven't heard anything from him in a while, so I guess
I know it's been nice, hasn't it? It's been rather peaceful. It's been very nice, hasn't it?
Yeah, I'm trying to. I want a more peaceful tone on my platform. Pretty much all across the board. So maybe it'll continue that way. I hope it will. Because I'm trying. I'm really trying to. I really do feel like I had a coming to Jesus moment when I was on my way to the dentist. I really thought the way the ride went, the whole experience, like I was going to the light. But we'll see. If I did. Listen, let me tell you, the whole experience was like what it was, aside from the $4,050 I dropped. But no, obviously, look, we'll see about Lee Moriarty and Dave Jamieson. I'm sure that something will happen, but we'll see what happens. Brittany Storm is not in the WVWF at this moment, but you can see her in some other places. I can assure you on that. And just for you, Taxi versus Josh Jade this Saturday.
Oh, wow. That has been building for months.
Yeah. So about, 5 months?
At least.
About 5-6 months.
Taxi was just like, oh, there's Josh Jade breathing. I have to go super kick him.
You
like,
even said
Taxi has been
obsessed.
He has been obsessed with Josh Jade.
Well, I mean, you wish is my command. No year, well, years. I meant this calendar year. But well, that's why you want to tune in and follow. But anything else you want to talk about? Anything you want to discuss? Anything that we left out? Obviously, a lot to talk about here at WVWF. I know you won't be here Friday, but Wyatt Black will be here Friday. We'll certainly talk about a lot of things that have gone on in the past week and a half. We recapped what Cody Maverick had to say a little bit, and also the announcement was Cody Maverick is announcing his retirement in 2026. He let it slip out. So this might be a win-or-go-home match. Listen, if Cody Maverick loses on Saturday, the retirement may start earlier than that because he ain't going to have anywhere to go. He talked about that. Look, I got to win. I got nowhere to go. So that could be, one thing to look at. We talked about William Renee, but you have nothing to do with him this weekend. So that'll be, to be continued. And we pretty much ran down the rest of the card in the WVWF. You also have an Instagram page, which we'll plug one more time. But anything else you want to talk about that we left out or missed?
That pretty much covers everything that's going on in WVWF right now. I'm definitely intrigued to see who takes on Phoebe Harper, who's stupid enough, audacious enough, who wakes up that morning and is just like, I want to lose today. I think that'll be interesting.
Could be James Enoch. By the way,
James, that airy, sweaty
James Enoch is by the way, he's
good.
I just thought about James Enoch as a name that would be one to look at. I mean, I don't know who else it could be. It's not going to be, like I said, Riku St. Helen. It's not going to be Jade May. It's it's not going to be Wyatt Black. It's going to be somebody. But you do have a Slam Wrestling page, which has got a couple of your articles. I know you published in some other places. But please go and check them out. And you can see some of the content here. I'm trying to click on this and I can't click on it. And I'm not sure why. But please support Courtney and all that good stuff. I think I'm just going to not click on this anymore because it's giving my browser a major problem. But there you go. Much better. But you've also got an Instagram. And also, let me get to a couple more comments. And good night. Yes, good night. Yes, see you soon. Maybe you'll be on here one day. Time will certainly be possible. And this will work here because it's your day. We'll give you the physical copy when we're off the air. And I'll give you the floor for closing thoughts, and we'll sign off for this week on a rather memorable appearance that you probably, for half or more of it, hated the people talked about tonight. But I pass the baton to you before we sign off.
It was a little more than half. Thank you to the gentleman of exquisite caliber that made this experience palatable.
Zilla was here. Zilla was in your corner. No, Zilla was here. There was other people in your corner. There was. I don't think it was just Godric.
No,
I think
Zilla.
Taxi was here. Taxi was in your favor. Jacob was here. I think it was a good crowd. I think you had some people here tonight that were not just Team William Renee and Wyatt Black.
There is no Team William Renee. You said it yourself. How many people hate that guy?
He had a couple of people here yesterday on his behalf. I don't know. Whatever.
Anyway,
Whatever.
Yeah. If you are interested in reading what I have to write, check it out on the Pro Wrestling Wire page. I always randomly. Yeah, I love it there. It's such a cool platform. And then WVWF, their social media.
Very, very good. We get WVWF covered. People were asking me, "Oh, when's the WVWF coming back on Sportswire?" And I was like, "Just wait." And we definitely talked a lot about the WVWF this week. What will wind up being, but no, Pro Wrestling Wire, shout them out. Definitely, Courtney's a staple on there. Slam Wrestling is where she's really gone worldwide. And if you're on Instagram right now, go worldwide and give her a follow. You can check out some of her stuff, some of her content, where she's been. She is definitely not giving me the 5 to plug that. And I have a comment on Discord or Twitch, which thank you. One of those pop bot comments, which is great, but it adds up to the views. But Courtney, great stuff. You definitely had plenty to say, and the rebuttal was certainly what I expected. You gave your receipt back to a few individuals. One of them, I'm sure we'll talk about this Friday, but nevertheless, it was fun. I definitely want to get to 5, so I'm going to say thank you as always. We'll definitely see you after the fallout from all of this, and safe travels this Saturday in the Richardson building. My best to everybody out there, and we'll see you soon, my friend.
Thank you.
All right, that was Courtney Wood, who's definitely a lot better than Dave Meltzer, because I heard him on Chris Jericho's podcast, and he really doesn't sound as good as Courtney on Sportswire. I hope she likes me for that comment, because I really heard Dave Meltzer on Jericho's podcast, and I was like, this guy's like a dork. He's a dork. I mean, he's like he's a dork. He really is a dork. I heard him speak. I'm like, this guy's a dork. Come on. I mean, I know him from Brooklyn, but he really sounds like a dork. Courtney's not a dork. She's got a master's degree, and she's a lot more intelligent than me, which is why check her out on all her platforms. But thank you, everybody, for tuning in. My name is the Reverend Tom Bryce, your voice, figuratively and literally, where all music and wrestling matters. If you're here in Sportswire, I'm here tomorrow night, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time, with Mr. Robert Scott, who's going to address the world for the first time in almost 2 weeks. Who knows? He's another one. You wouldn't like him either. You don't like William Renee. You don't like Wyatt Black. You probably wouldn't like Robert Scott. He's not too far from those men either. But not going there. We're ending on a high note. We're definitely taking the winning odds and keeping Courtney happy, because she won't give us the 5 if we don't. So thank you, everybody, and good morning, good afternoon, good evening, however you are. On the number one, Global Radio, into the Sportswire Radio, where all music and wrestling matters. Thank you so much, everybody.